My name is Maggie. I have Crohn's disease, which essentially means my body doesn't recognize my intestines, and so it attacks it like it is a foreign body. This has led me to have a number of surgeries, and unfortunately the most damaged part of my GI tract was my colon, rectum, and anus. I had a diversion surgery called ileostomy surgery a little over 10 years ago, and basically that meant that I only use my small intestine. I do not use the colon for absorption of anything. So this small intestine was brought through the abdominal wall about an inch or so, and I wear an ostomy bag or an ostomy pouch, whatever you want to call it. Basically a plastic bag that catches my waist. This meant that my colon was disconnected from my small intestine, and my colon, rectum, and anus were not used for over 10 years, which really isn't healthy for it. Along with the irritation and inflammation of having Crohn's disease in my colon and rectum, I started to get something called diversional colitis. And there are a couple ways to manage this, but it comes from basically not having the nutrients that it normally would when food is passing through. You can do suppositories, and the other way to cure this is to be reconnected, which just wasn't an option because my rectum was so narrow and just so scar tissue that nothing could really be used there again. So this past December, I decided to get rid of all that nonsense. I had my colon and rectum removed, and yes, my anus is sewn shut. Quite literally, sewn shut. Sounds crazy, I know, that is my life now. You might be wondering, what does this look like? What is the recovery like? Is it painful? So I'm going to answer some of those questions. Please know I'm answering only from my personal knowledge. I am a registered nurse. I deal with GI patients, but I am answering this solely from a patient perspective. So if you have medical questions, please go to your surgeon, please go to your GI doc. They are absolutely the best person because they know you, first of all, but they are the best person to discuss these issues with. I'm here to just give my personal experience with the surgery. So I had a surgery on December 13th of 2019. Seems like a long time, long recovery, because what I will say is that this sort of wound, basically when they close the anus, it literally looks like your cheeks just, kind of go into nothing. It's just like a line. That is my scar. I think that my surgeon did an amazing job. It looks really good. But my wound is still open in some places and still draining over 4 months after surgery. This is one of those complications. It's a very hard spot to basically heal. It's in a weird spot that moves a ton. You don't realize how much you move, that keeps in between them until you get the surgery done. And it's also a dark, moist place. So it is great. It's a great breeding ground for infection, which is really annoying because I have basically ongoing infections with this wound. Nothing major. It hasn't split open in some crazy way, but I do have 2 openings. There's one near my tailbone, very small, and it does drain a bit. It will fill back in and then open back up. It's done that maybe 2 or 3 times now. And then I have a larger one that is kind of where the old hole used to be, which is probably why it's starting to heal. That is bleeding a lot more. So I am always wearing gauze. I will take the big line of gauze and push it as deep in there as I can without damaging anything to try and pull out some of this further. And I'll change it like 5 or 6 times a day. I always make sure at night that I'm putting in a much larger piece of gauze to absorb more, just because I know I'll be sleeping and not be going to the bathroom as much. So that has been my experience. Let me know in the comments below if you had the surgery and what helped you heal after surgery. Because it's like 4 months later, come on, can this sucker close up? Did it hurt? So, with this surgery, it's done a few different ways, and because I have a history of wound dehiscence, and wound dehiscence is basically when a wound that is closed opens up, and then most of the time you let it heal from the inside out, so it kind of fills in rather than all of the tissues, all of the layers of tissue really healing together at once. I have a history of that. If you've ever seen my ostomy videos where I change my diet or whatever, you'll notice I have a pretty deep midline scar. So that was a wound dehiscence from 10 years ago when I originally got my ostomy. It started off really nice and pretty. I had a nice belly button, and then it started to split open. So it had to fill in. It was kind of like the Grand Canyon. So because I have this history and because it's a tricky spot for wounds to heal, they decided to use non-dissolvable stitches, which meant that I had to get stitch removal, and you've seen that video.
When I do it, don't worry. But I wanted to see how deep it was, and I only got in about a centimeter, so that's pretty good. He said it looked like the muscle had healed, deeper in the wound, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy to keep going, doing my wound care. It's kind of weird. This is maybe a nursing thing. I love wound care. I love ostomy care, but I think wound care is like pretty high up on my enjoyment list in nursing because it's so satisfactory cleaning it out and then like getting it to heal. So like I am 100% fine caring for this wound. I enjoy it. Yes, it's painful when I pack it, but like I know that I'm gonna help my wound close, so it's very satisfactory to me. So I will keep doing that. And then if this goes on to the year mark from my surgery, so if I still have a wound next December, we will explore other options, including like the muscle. Hi guys. So I'm doing this quick video because I am experiencing my first blockage. It's really, really painful. Uh, I worked last night and I'm supposed to work tonight. I called out because around noon I woke up to I thought I was dreaming, just like severe pain. And when I actually woke up, I realized it was my stomach, and my bag had very watery output, which is not like me. And it felt like waves, and I felt that before, never with my ostomy, always before, like when I was obstructed. So I got in the shower, I pulled my bag off, and my stoma was twice the size that it normally is, and there was food like stuck in it. So I was trying to literally pull it out. No, it's super gross, but now it's, I think, close to 4 p.m. and it's not getting better. It hurts a ton. It hurts very bad. I'm debating in my mind whether how long do I wait. So is the wait, can I do this at home or can I go to the hospital and do this? So, I haven't been to the hospital in years. Oh god, this sucks. Oh my god. Every time I move, it like sets it off too. So I'm trying not to move, but I want to get like a hot pack or something downstairs. Oh man, I'm tired. So I was in so much pain and I could feel so much pressure. I was like, I can't stand this. So I got a catheter tip syringe and a enema tube, and I did my first ever irrigation on my stoma, which, like, I'm not recommending that because I was not prescribed that. I've just done it to other people with ostomies, and I was a little bit desperate, and it definitely helped. There's still a lot in there that needs to come out, but it literally, quite literally, shot out of me, and it was definitely my fault for the food that I made. I was trying to gain weight, make a healthy meal, and basically it's veggies that I'm not digesting at all. So I'm gonna irrigate probably a few more times because I need this to go away. I'm in a lot of pain. I haven't had this much stomach pain in years. Right now it's best to be. It feels best to be in the little microwave bowl in the back of the stomach. Oh my gosh, guys, this is for the birds. Keep you updated. Thursday. Still where I am.
life since. Some people are very curious about this because they're like, wait, so you like don't have a hole? No, I don't have a hole anymore. It's pretty mind-blowing there. But no, like seriously, there's no hole anymore. It is just sewn up. I do have a small wound there. I actually have two small wounds from where the incision has not healed yet. What I've seen is that some people have great success and their wounds heal in just a couple of months, and then I've seen other people who take a few years. So I'm hopefully going to be in the middle of that, and we can heal it up soon. Now, some people have seen my period video with this surgery, and I talked about tampons being difficult for me to use, and some of you kind of speculated saying, well, if that's difficult to use, then having sex surely must be difficult. You would be correct. It is no walk in the park, can I tell you? At least not right after surgery. It was not at all. But here's the thing, is that prior to surgery, with all that disease in my rectum, right next to my vagina, sex was painful. It was. It was painful internally and externally. Then I had this surgery to remove everything. Obviously, there's an incision there where everything has to heal, and I couldn't even sit for a couple of months after that surgery. I couldn't use tampons whatsoever. Ain't nothing going up there. I'll tell you that, nothing. Nothing was going around that area. I'm just being honest with you guys. It took a couple of months before I was brave enough to try having penetrative sex. Anything that would go in that area would stretch out my vaginal opening, would stretch and push into my incision, and it would cause some pretty terrible pain. And because we're being honest here, more than once did we try and fail, and I wound up in tears, feeling absolutely worthless because I was like, I can't have sex. This blows. This sucks. It was so frustrating because you want to, but the pain was too much. It really was. So we would have to say, okay, like we will try again. And that's all we could do. What I started to realize was happening was that any pressure, anything around that area was making me tense up and become very nervous because obviously I'm associating it with pain because it's painful. I didn't want anything near there. As time went on and the pain was actually reducing in my incision, I'm at the point now where there is no pain. I still associated any touch in that area to be negative, and so I would tense up, and that's one thing that doesn't help when you have penetrative sex. When you're tensing up, it causes pain. It can cause quite a bit of pain. I had to retrain my brain to understand that us being intimate was not a negative thing, nor should it cause pain to me after my incision healed quite a bit, which is kind of really difficult to do when you're with somebody. It's like, how do I tell myself that I want to enjoy this and this should be enjoyable when I got the dude sitting right there? Luckily, Zach is very understanding and I have a very, very supportive partner. But it's still really difficult. You just like, you cry. Like, what else do you do? So some of the things that we have learned to do over time that has made sex totally normal now, so much better than what it was 9 or 10 months ago, is that number one, take it slow. Take it real slow. Wait until you feel comfortable enough to try, but also during the act, take it slow. Don't skip out on that foreplay, because that helps you get into the mindset that this is okay and you are going to be accepted of whatever may come your way. I've also learned that taking slow, deep breaths during the first few minutes really helps. It really does.
I am back today to talk proctocolectomies, lots of fun of course, but I thought I would talk a little bit more in detail about it because I think that I have confused some of you. I do have Crohn's disease as opposed to ulcerative colitis, which makes my situation a little bit rare, having a total colectomy and my rectum also removed in this surgery, as well as having my anal canal closed up. Yes, I know that is very unusual, and the most unusual part about my surgery is that no, I am not having an end ileostomy placed during the surgery because I already have one. So I think it's important that we rewind and we talk a little bit about the different things that they can do in proctocolectomy surgeries, because there are a few different options for people in this position. Now, of course, that first option is a proctocolectomy, straightforward, where your colon and your rectum are removed and you are given an end ileostomy, and that means where your small intestine connected to your colon, that's actually going to come through your abdominal wall just slightly, maybe an inch or so, and you'll wear an ostomy bag. Having that surgery may be the only step that you take. You get your ostomy and you get your colon and your rectum removed, and then your anus is sewn up. Or if you have something like ulcerative colitis, you may be going back for another 1 or 2 surgeries. You may have heard of a J pouch, and a J pouch is something that is actually quite amazing. So the first step in J pouch surgery usually is having a colectomy, so having your colon removed, and then having an ostomy placed. They'll leave your rectum alone because they don't want scar tissue forming in that area, because they have other plans in your second surgery. In the second surgery, usually a loop ileostomy is formed, so that means that your small intestine is kind of folded. If you think of a garden hose, it's folded up and it's brought through your abdominal wall, and you'll have 2 lumens to your stoma as opposed to 1, which is what you usually see in my videos because I have an end ileostomy. Part of your intestine is then turned into a pouch. They basically fold your intestine, and if you look at diagrams of how they make the J pouch, it looks like a J because your intestine is literally folded up on itself, and that's kind of like your holding tank that's going to take the place of your rectum. Because the rectum